What is up, everyone? Welcome to an emergency podcast of Boleros. We are back with me, Gab. We have Sam and Maui, and we are gonna tackle the latest news in the UAAP. Carl Tamayo
Breaking.
has chosen to leave the UP Fighting Maroons and play in the Japan B.League. So the UAP just keeps on giving us content, boys.
I know.
Grabe.
Akala natin mawawalan
Sorry.
tayong content after the season, pero every week may breaking news eh.
Thank you, UAAP. Thank you, Carl Tamayo. So let's get right into it. Obviously, this is big news, but first uh, let's take on your thoughts on what this means for Carl Tamayo. Carl Tamayo exclusively. Siguro Sam, let's start with you.
For Carl Tamayo, I think we talked about this in previous episodes of the podcast. We were all sort of expecting Carl Tamayo to field offers up to play abroad. For Carl Tamayo personally, in terms of his development, I think this is a good decision. We talked about this during the Jerome Lastimosa discussion. Guys like Carl Tamayo and Jerome Lastimosa, they're on a next level in terms of skills, in terms of talent compared to the rest of the players in the UAAP. So, kung ganun ka kagaling, ganun ka ka-talented, especially Carl Tamayo with his size, he's still young, he's oozing with potential. It just makes sense for you to try to challenge yourself, no, and take yourself to the next level. Napag-usapan na natin to, 'di ba? Sometimes we say na we feel like si Carl Tamayo is just cruising. Kapag naglalaro siya sa UAAP, he's just cruising. Tapos kapag medyo agit na siya or kailangan humabol, kailangan gumawa, he'll turn it on and then, he'll score at will, 'di ba? Pinag-usapan na natin, pinaglalaruan lang niya yung mga defenders niya, no? So I think for Carl Tamayo, this is really, really, really good for his development and siguro in a sense for the Philippines din, no? Because this guy is like 6'8", can score at will in different ways. Has good ball handling, has decent defense, is good defensively. Him playing abroad, so Japan B-League, no? So, sino ba kasama niyan? Sina 30. I think this is really, really good exposure for him.
All right. Maui, thoughts on Carl Tamayo going to Japan?
First of all, congratulations to Carl Tamayo for landing international contract. I think ever
May
since he
balita na ba
suited
kung
up,
magkano? May
wala
balita na
pa.
ba?
Pero
Wala pa,
I'm
no?
assuming it's gonna be big. Probably 30 Ravenna big. Bigger than the others. Carl Tamayo is the best local prospect outside of Kai Soto, in my opinion. Ever since he suited up sa Gilas nung si Coach Tab yung was handling Gilas, Carl Tamayo showed flashes to the point that UP mentioned nila letter to the community that he was even being recruited even before he started suiting up for UP sa UAAP. My main concern with Carl Tamayo is similar to Balti, kay Baltazar, hopefully Carl Tamayo was playing small forward and power forward when he was playing sa Gilas under Coach Tab. But when Gilas was handled by Coach Shot, he exclusively played power forward also, I think. And in the UAAP, mostly, probably 80 or 90% of the time, power forward. Bihira naman nag-big lineup yung UP.
Sometimes
But
center pa nga eh.
yeah, sometimes center when Diouf was in foul trouble and si Lucero was also in foul trouble. But yeah, I think Carl Tamayo has been playing competitive league basketball, I think, less than 10 years. So maganda yung fundamentals niya for even he wasn't trained to really be a big man. Hopefully Japan's the first step. I'm hoping that he gets into the NBL like Kai Soto and hopefully also possibly sa EuroLeague which is where he's really suited to play. He's a very versatile power forward. He can drive the ball, post up the ball, and he can also put the ball in the basket off the dribble. So yeah, congratulations to Carl Tamayo. I was hoping also si Jerome Lastimosa. But yeah, this is probably a bigger surprise than Jerome Lastimosa staying sa
Staying. Good point. Good point. Ito si Maui, hindi pa naglalaro si Carl sa Japan. Gusto na niyang mag-NBL or Euroleague si Carl eh. Masyado
high hopes,
Honestly,
excited,
high
you
Maui.
hopes, high hopes for
tama
Carl
si Maui,
Tamayo.
pare. Actually, his ceiling is not just Japan B-League. I think he could play competitively in other leagues, in more competitive leagues. I think yung ceiling niya is definitely Euroleague, no? He can definitely play there.
Tsaka he's only
6'7".
21. He's only 21
Yeah,
versus like Lastimosa who's probably already 24. So
agree,
very
agree.
early.
So, agree ako kay Maui, especially yung thoughts niyo. Very good for Carl Tamayo to play internationally in a more competitive league and getting a lot of cash while doing it. That's very good for him. Congrats talaga. Same thoughts as Maui rin. I hope he plays the wing position. I think he's mastered playing power forward and center. I think his next development will be to play in the wing. Improve his ball handling, get a more consistent 3-point shot, play, get faster laterally, learn how to defend faster players. And by the time he plays again for Gilas, I think you'll see a more dominant Carl Tamayo. I really hope na kung sino to whoever team he plays for, right, whichever team he plays for, and whoever coach he plays for, I hope he sees the potential in Carl Tamayo being a wing player. And even, I don't know, baka mag-guard. Who knows? He has that skill. He has that ceiling. I called him the best player in the UAAP, and even in the amateur ranks, he's really the best. So, uh, hopefully, pare, we get to see a new level of Carl Tamayo. Sana gamitin siya. No? I do hope na he doesn't become what
Parang kay
Justin
Balti.
Baltazar. Yeah.
Mm.
To what happened to Justin Baltazar in his stint in the B-League na hindi masyadong ginamit. Kasi, di ba, if you're just on the bench, wala mangyayari sa'yo. So, congrats to Carl. I think we all agree on this is a good thing for him. But now we go to the collective. What does this mean for the UP Fighting Maroons? And Maui smiling. Sige, Maui, you go first. What does this mean for UP?
Patay. To be honest, patay. I think we tackled this yung sa mga recap natin sa graduating players. UP is gonna have a big hole, a very big hole sa front court. Losing Lucero and Galinato, and now Carl Tamayo will be a very big hit to UP's front court. I think Malik Diouf will probably be the MVP again next year because he will have to put up big numbers, very big numbers every night.
And play around 39 minutes a game.
Yeah, probably average more than 30 minutes per game. But UP has a lot of recruits coming in. I think they have been trying to recruit from Division One, from the US Division One NCAA. They also have a Filipino American 6'9" big man coming next year. I think they're still waiting for the confirmation. His name is Sean Alter. He's a 6'9" power forward center, and from the reports I've read, he's a versatile big man similar to Carl Tamayo. He can put the ball in the basket, post up, shoot the ball. So I think yeah, UP should have been preparing. I mean, based on their press release, they expected Carl Tamayo to. They were getting offers, or Tamayo was already getting offers even before he suited up for UP. So they had 2 years, probably even 3 because of COVID, to prepare for this. And I think they should have a plan B. Because Bismarck Lina cannot be their starting power forward. They'll definitely
Shots
struggle.
fired.
Yeah, Bismarck Lina has to to probably convert his game to the 3 or 2 because of his height. But outside of Bismarck Lina, Sean Terculas also is probably not suitable power forward, given the nature that power forwards in the UAP are starting to become yung centers kasi before are becoming power forwards because of the influx of foreign student athletes. But yeah, I think UP will probably have to be very busy looking for their power forward. They have all the tools to still compete. They have very a very deep wing and guard rotation. CJ Cancino's coming back, but yeah, they have to look for the next for another power forward in another center. Losing Lucero, Galinato, and now Tamayo is really a very big hit. Probably even bigger than Ateneo losing Kwame, in my opinion.
Sam.
Definitely big loss for UP. I think if we could go back to yung assessment natin of like the teams losing
Yung time to
players
come out of
in the
retirement, Sam, yung balik ka na sa UP. Feel ko may
um
konting taon ka pa dun eh.
wala na. MBA, no, MBA. But yeah, definitely big loss. If we go back to, I think we talked about like which team parang lost the most. I think if I remember correctly, a lot of us mentioned Ateneo. I might have to change my answer. It might be UP. Losing
Definitely
that many
UP.
bigs,
Definitely UP.
that losing that many bigs and losing one of the, if not the best player in the UAP, as you mentioned. Um, uh, it's it's
Gab's
honestly a
MVP.
it's honestly a hole
Yes,
that you
my
cannot
MVP.
it's a hole that you cannot fill, you know. Kahit sino pang hanapin mo, yung more than let's say yung skills and yung talent ni Carl Tamayo, you can sort of replace. But the legend of Carl
Yeah.
Tamayo, yung love ng UP community for Carl Tamayo, the guy who brought UP back to the championship after what, 30 plus years. I was scrolling through my Facebook feed right before this podcast, and I just saw all coming from UP. I saw all my UP batchmates, my UP friends just reposting, sharing sad stories about like Carl Tamayo leaving UP. This guy had probably one of the biggest impact in UP basketball for ever since the Benji Paras days. I would say, like, sorry to like Richie and the JDL brothers. I know they brought UP back to relevance. But you know, Carl Tamayo brought UP back to the championship. So more big loss for the team and also for the UP community. I think people, you know, to be fair, Carl Tamayo is a very, very likable, marketable guy. Um, you
Tama.
cannot help but to love him or to cheer for him. Kahit nakalaban mo siya, di ba? Tayo dito, you know, most of the time, we obviously cheer for Ateneo. But when we see Carl Tamayo play, ibang klase din eh. Manghang-mangha din talaga tayo eh. So,
Takot tayo, pare.
takot
Pag si
tayo.
Carl
Oo, tama.
takot tayo para
So,
yung bola na sa kanya.
So sad then. Sad to know, to hear now na that was the last time we're going to see Carl Tamayo play in the UAP. But for him personally, you know, it's good for him.
All right. Same thoughts, pare. I'd like to bounce off what Maui had to say. Because I've been saying this since season 84. Their front court is very shallow. And now they lost lost their entire front court. So I don't know where they're gonna get their bigs. If sabi nga ni Maui, there are recruits up and coming. It'll take a while for them to be acclimated to UAV basketball. So there are some guys on the bench that I see who are big-ish, but we don't see them often, right? You mentioned si Bismarck Lina, doesn't really play much, very small. There are other guys on the bench that I see who are big-ish. players. I don't know how they play because we just never saw them play in the UAP season. Baka kayo, yung nakita nyo sila nung preseason, yung in between season 84 and 85. Pero ako, I haven't seen them play.
Go Zoom daw ba? Balik.
Natalo sa NC, yung sinasapak daw siya ng Letran. So, balik daw sa UP. Gago ka, Maui.
Now you miss Go Zoom.
Oo nga. It would have been good, no? If they had
Yeah.
Will Gozum there. Just right there to replace Carl Tamayo. But, yeah, an interesting wrinkle that I just thought of na we saw in the finals, in Game 3 especially, UP go small with Juve at center and then play essentially 4 guards out there. I would not be surprised if they actually go that route. Play 4 guards alongside Malik Juve to close out games or even for stretches in the upcoming season. It's hard to replace that gaping hole left by their 3 big men, Lucero, Galinato, and Tamayo. Hirap. I don't know how they're gonna play next season. They might have to change their style. They might have to do a UE, something close to what Coach Jackson Thiago is doing there. Just 4 out, 1 in. They might have to do that because lack of bigs talaga pretty apparent. But for me, in terms of favorites for next season, I think we'll still put Ateneo as the favorites. Would you guys put UP with Ateneo or would you put NU ahead of UP? Sam, interesting how you want to. Oh, let's make it spicy, pare. Would you now take NU over UP?
You know what? That's a good question. Definitely bumaba yung rating
Ceiling.
ko of UP with ceiling ng UP with Carl Tamayo gone. I would actually put them at the same level now, NU and UP. And maybe again, I always go back to this team, no. Maybe LaSalle can sneak in there. They're much bigger now. They're much bigger now compared to UP. Before, LaSalle and UP would match up their bigs, diba? Like you have like a Mike Phillips, a KQ, I mean Phillips brothers. Pero ngayon, as you mentioned, Gab, maliit na UP eh. I think LaSalle can now finally get over that UP hump if magkatapatan sila. So, I don't know, maybe LaSalle can sneak in there. This is actually good news for for the rest of the teams, no? Especially a LaSalle, an Adamson, or an NU. I would have to put UP down a notch. Maybe tie with NU. Maui.
Maui.
I think
NU or UP or someone else or some other team.
right now I think yung UP probably below NU for me. NU is going with an intact team. They have some recruits coming in, including yung brother ni Bobby Ray Parks. But I'm not putting UP because I don't think they can contend for the title. They can still contend for the title. I'm putting UP there because of the question mark, similar with the other teams like LaSalle, and if Adamson, if they can go another level. The problem with losing 3 of your key big men, 3 of your key rotation players is now your main advantage turns into a disadvantage. So before UP used to bully, as in talaga si Galinato would used to bully yung backup big ng all the teams sa UAAP, even Ateneo, even LaSalle,
Even yung starters eh.
even yung starters sometimes. But now you're left with a very big hole. Imagine Diouf picking up his second foul early in the game. Imagine UP going down big, and Carl Tamayo is not there to rescue them anymore. And I think they're still contenders, but they have to answer a lot of questions. They're not as top down solid as before. will now see Coach Goldwyn for the first time in a very long time without Carl Tamayo. So we'll see if it's Carl Tamayo's the magic of UP or if it's really Coach Goldwyn. But they still have a very deep team, and I think they really just have to look for a serviceable big man, at least two serviceable power forward and center this off season. Just to be able to match up with the size of a Lasal, the size of probably an Ateneo with also Balungay and Obasa
Obasa.
coming in
Amos.
and Amos coming in. But yeah, if they're able to find uh, big wing players, big small forward and power forward players, I'm still looking for them as the title contender. Remember, outside of Kwame, Diouf is still the best foreign student athlete. The impact of Diouf is sort of similar to Kwame, and you still cannot discount that. Ateneo wouldn't have been anywhere without Kwame. And I think Diouf will really have to will be the MVP. I'm calling him the MVP of season 86. Definitely will be the MVP of
Way
season
too
86.
early pick.
But yeah,
Kataas
I
wala
think
season 85 Maui
the MVP na back to back si Diouf if they don't find a power forward or a power forward and a backup big as similar in nature to even just Galinato, not even Lucero and Carl's level. But yeah, I think UP will still contend, but I'm putting NU above them since NU's going intact.
So, same ako kay Maui and si Sam, safe answer eh. Pantay lang NU sa UP. Ayaw mag-pick ni Sam eh. Ako, yung nakamute ka pare.
For me kasi mas mababa talaga NU than UP prior to this eh. So
So
bumaba naman
nag-level up.
UP pero
Nag-level up.
nag-level lang. Kasi for me, kung meron tayong in tab we trust, I'm sure yung UP meron silang in gold we trust.
Yes, exactly. But to answer the question yung I just posted to you guys. I am taking NU as perhaps number 2 next to Ateneo in our way too early power rankings for next season. Again, Maui, you put up a good point. There are a lot of question marks in the front court for UP. That's why I'm taking them down a notch next to NU. Lasal, again, we discussed this over and over again. Lasal is the wild card. We don't know what's going to happen to them. There have been tons of rumors who their next coach is going to be. But just to end this podcast, Sam, we did call this in our season 85 preview the trend that you were looking to continue in season 85, and one of them was players leaving without finishing their years of eligibility in the UAAP. And now I think the next big domino to fall has just fallen in Carl Tamayo. It was RJ Abarientos and SJ to start uh, sis, uh, prior to season 85, and now it's Carl Tamayo. Uh, siguro an
Actually,
interesting question. Oh,
for me, Gab, something to, I don't know kung we're thinking the same thing, pero ang question ko now is it only going to be Carl Tamayo for UP?
that
Now,
was my next question. That was
okay,
my next
okay,
question.
okay.
Uh,
So, great
who's
minds.
next to leave?
Yeah.
Sam, go ahead.
That's my question also because alam ko pinapag-usapan na natin before. I'm sure ito din pick nyo. We're talking about Fortea. We were hearing rumors na teams were also looking at Fortea as someone that I think yung KBL, when they found out na Jerome is, masyadong mahal si Jerome, people were looking into Fortea. Also, like, if you're one of the star players of UP, let's say a Fortea or even a JD Kagulangan, and Carl Tamayo leaves your team, or let's say a Spencer, di ba? You wanted to stay for your final year, JD or Spencer, you wanted to stay for your final year because you know that you were going to contend as long as you had your team intact. But now that you have Carl Tamayo leaving the team, and sabi ni Maui, maraming question marks yung team, would you now consider leaving also? So, I would pick for Taya. I know I hear for Taya a lot, but I'm actually going to pick the graduating players or the players with final years in the UAP.
Spencer.
So for me yung dalawang yon would be JD Kagulangan and Spencer. Yun ang what I'm expecting would
It's an
hear
interesting
or
point.
get some offers.
It's an interesting point you bring up there. JD actually when so the KBL teams could not get Jerome. They may be looking at another young point guard. JD Kagulangan is right up there, or maybe a Fortsky Padrigao. Let's hope not. But pero JD Kagulangan is interesting because I think he's already a very complete player, a more
Mhm.
complete player than Terence Fortea. Again, I've been on Terence Fortea's. Basta, I've been on him since season 84. He's not yet. He has a lot to learn. Let's just put it that way. He's not yet at the level of JD. I think JD has has grown into a complete point guard already. And if KBL teams are looking for a point guard to replace Jerome or a point guard just to be solid at that position, I think they have to look at JD Gulangan rather than Terence Fortea. So
Mhm.
JD or maybe perhaps a Fortsky Padrigao uh, can be the next domino to fall. I mean, I don't want to say Fortsky, but he's already a pretty good point guard. And if you're a foreign club, you
True.
gotta give you have to take a look at a Fortsky Padrigao. Maui, you have
I think
any thoughts on who you think is gonna be next?
when you say UP, probably si Fortea and si Spencer, si Mert Asami. I'll talk about more si Spencer. Si Spencer kasi I think has been playing sa semi-pro league na sa Australia or New Zealand.
Australia, yeah.
So probably seeing this news, is probably wondering if he's gonna go back. I won't blame him if he won't go back. But yeah, probably Spencer. But if you're talking about other UAP teams, I think si Caballero would probably be the biggest na nag-iisip ngayon. Carl Tamayo and RJ Barrientos are breaking barriers as 21-year-olds who already signed pro contracts from the UAAP. If Caballero signs a contract before he turns 20 or right now, that would really open Pandora's box for the UAAP, especially if Caballero performs well outside of the UAAP. I think it's a very big factor na si RJ Abarientos has really performed well sa KBL despite only playing 1 year sa UAAP. And if Carl Tamayo can replicate that in the KBL, and then if Nick Cabanero also decides to transfer as a 19-year-old to another professional league abroad, that would open Pandora's box. Now
Sasabog na.
every young athlete, regardless if he's in his 20s, if he's in his third year, in his second year in the UAP, will now consider playing abroad, which is I think beneficial to the league,
Yes.
beneficial also to the Philippines. It's similar to how players in the NCAA in the states look at themselves every after the season. They try to evaluate if they're ready for the pros or if they want to go back and try to win it all or try to improve more. And I think this is the right direction when you're talking about Philippine basketball. Teams in the European region, some players go pro as early as 16 or 17 years old. Luka
Mhm.
Doncic went pro as early as 15 or 16 years old. And I think this would be the next level, and it probably there will be talent naman every year. So I don't think the UAP has to worry.
Mhm.
There are players that are riding the bench, like si RC Kalimag transferred to San Beda because he was riding the bench and he was a standout for the youth team. But yeah, I think this would probably be the next step, and then we'll probably be talking about players leaving early. But the restrictions on the transfers, I think yung B-League requires both of your parents to be Filipinos. So some of the players are restricted to go there. I saw this because of Bolick. Robert Bolick, I think, is being eyed also by the B.League, but he's not eligible because yung dad niya is, I think, because of his yung dad niya is an American citizen. But yeah,
May ganun pala.
I think this development and if another player like in the caliber of Nick Caballero decides to sign abroad, it's gonna be good for Filipino basketball. It's gonna be good for the UAAP.
Yes.
Every year will be more exciting, to be honest.
I think this is just a testament to how good young players are nowadays. Diba?
Yeah.
Imagine mo yung mga rookies and sophomores na nagiging stars ng kanilang team and are the ones getting the offers abroad. And which is why we were all skeptical at the decision of Jerome Lastimosa to stay. But his life, no? It's his decision. But yeah, this is like what Maui said. I think this is a good thing. Younger players are getting really good at basketball, and like what Sammy said in the previous podcast with Jerome, their peaks are only a short while. Their peaks as basketball players are only a short while. So
Get the bag while you
if they will invest in that and get as much money as they can from playing basketball, then I'm all for it. And any last things to add, boys, before we sign off on this very quick emergency podcast?
Congratulations to Carl Tamayo and good luck in
Congrats.
Japan.
Yes.
We wish you all
We
the
wish you well.
best.
Yes. We wish you all the best, Carl Tamayo. You've been a
Get the
pleasure.
bag.
You've been a pleasure to watch in the UAAP. Nakakatakot ka pang kalaban mo Ateneo, pero ang saya mo pang hindi mo kalaban Ateneo. Let's just leave it at that. Thank you,
We're
everyone.
cheering for you, bro.
We're cheering for Carl Tamayo. Thank you. Peace out.